This is the Investing News Network. We are here in Toronto at PDAC. Joining me today is Adam Berk, CEO and President of One Bullion. Nice to meet you, Adam.
That pleasure is all mine.
How has the conference been so far?
I think the conference has been really well so far. We've definitely seen a shift of the types of investors that have come this year versus past years. And I think that's happened really for a few different reasons. I think one, obviously, gold being over 5,300 an ounce has definitely helped. And I think you're seeing a new sort of investor base start to turn over. So I think everyone is very excited about this conference in particular. I think the attendance has been very high, and everyone's talking about the same things. They want to invest in companies that have two main things. One, that are in jurisdictions that are very stable. Obviously, with civil unrest around the world and that everything that's going on, they want to make sure that they're investing behind companies that are in great sort of jurisdictions. That's definitely one. And number two, they want companies that have very large land packages, something with a lot of optionality and opportunity. And the good news is One Bullion checks both those boxes right now.
I love that. Can we start with your ticker symbol and what exchanges you trade on?
Absolutely. So right now we're on the TSXV, and our ticker symbol is OBUL.
Perfect. And I think it's really important, that you express what investor sentiment is, because jurisdiction is such an important piece of, what the puzzle when they're looking for where to invest. And your company is a gold explorer in Botswana.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like working there and what you've seen on the ground?
Absolutely. So I think to understand that a little bit, you have to go back. One Bullion was put together over 6 years ago with the mindset of they wanted to be in a very stable jurisdiction that's very democratic, that is very pro-mining friendly, and it's easy to operate with real infrastructure. Botswana checks all of those boxes. So from my standpoint, I think it's a great opportunity and a great place to actually work, and we're able to get things done. They put together those licenses, and now we're on the ground there, actually able to really fulfill exactly what our investors want, right? So we have a lot of big catalysts on the road this year, and we're actually going to make some moves here.
Yeah, and South Central Africa is really up and coming area. There's a lot of potential there, like you were just telling us.
Definitely.
In mid-January, you released an update on your work in Botswana. What were some of the highlights?
Sure. So, well, they brought me in about 2 years ago to take the company public, right? So we had a bunch of cleanup work to do first. We had to find a vehicle. The company had been private for 6 years. We had a very large investor base who wanted liquidity, and we were able to put those things together. Since we did that, and we've been public now for about 30 days, we've announced recently that we're starting our geophysics program, and that is very important, right? So we're going to fly the mag survey for both our Vumba and Maitengwe properties. Those are two of the three properties that we have, and those are in the northeast part of the country. And once we have those geophysics mag surveys done, then we'll actually be able to drill later on this summer for our Vumba property.
And we talked a little bit about it at the beginning, but the gold price is in record territory, keeps hitting new highs. What does that mean for your projects?
Well, for us, I think it really did a few things. The first was it gave us the opportunity to actually go public. When this company started 6 years ago, once again, predated me, gold was trading at $1,600 an ounce, $1,400 an ounce, right? People weren't as excited they are today about junior explorers, especially with the sort of land package and opportunity that we have sitting on 3 greenstone belts. Remember, not many junior miners are sitting on 147 linear kilometers of greenstone belt. We do. So when you put that into the pot with, $5,300 an ounce for gold, it makes it very exciting, and we're on the radar now of some major explorers that are saying, wow, look at what these guys are doing. Gold price is there. They have the right land package in the right jurisdiction. We're going to take interest.
Yeah, and around the same time, the spot price breached, $4,600 for the first time, and it's still moving higher and higher. Where do you see it going in the future?
Well, I think a little bit of it depends upon what's going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see a major rise today, obviously, because of everything that's happened in the Middle East. People want to move to a stored currency where crypto is really falling out over the last few months, right? The price has been depressed already. A lot of our investors today, our U.S. investors that have moved into the One Bullion stock, were legacy crypto investors. They've now wanted to move into a stable sort of mineral like gold, which is very important for them. And also you have major central banks buying gold and really acquiring as much of it as they can. So I think, I made the call when I took over this job $2,500 an ounce when gold was trading at 1,800 an ounce. I quickly moved to 3,500, then 4,000, and then 5,000. It surpassed even what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think there's no end in sight. I mean, I could easily see $6,000 an ounce here in a very short period of time, especially because of what central banks are doing as they're buying gold, and it's a great stored currency. And you have a lot of retail investors, especially from the US, that are coming in, they're buying this asset class, and they really like what they're seeing.
And I think that's a really interesting point, because a lot of the conferences I go to, they talk about this AI bubble bursting, and it's just a matter of time. And we're in a gold bull market. So it's nice to see that the investors are starting to come back, because they left a while ago.
Absolutely.
Later in the month, One Bullion announced the start of the airborne geophysical survey at Vumba and Maitengwe. What are you targeting there, and what do you expect to have results for the investors?
Yeah, so prior, they did a lot of work a few years ago. The company, as a private company, had raised $13 million. A lot of that went into the ground. They have a lot of assays and a lot of works from the legacy programs, right? Recently, what we did was we mapped all of the artisanal mines. So we put that on top of our maps as well. We have all the legacy drill and the drilling from One Bullion. Now with the flying of the geomag, we're looking for all of the geology formations under the ground so we can figure out exactly where we want to drill. We're looking for those banded iron formations, which are super important. That will give rise to where the gold host really sits, and it'll give us a really pointed place on where we want to drill. We're not trying to take that machine gun approach. I'm trying to be more of a sniper here, figure out where we want to drill. We want to be great stewards of capital that we have inside of our treasury right now, and really figure out exactly where we want to drill. I think the geomag survey will be a very important piece of that. We'll be able to layer that over all of our CAD files and then figure out exactly when we want to drill. We have a great new team aboard. We have a great team on the ground. We have a great geologist that's really leading the charge here. So I think we're going to have some results later on this summer for our investors, and I think it's going to be very exciting for everyone to see. Yeah. Remember, our region is an unbelievable region, right? The belts that we sit on, Harmony Gold sits on the same belt as us on the South African side of the border, and that's our Crypan project. And for Vumba and Maitengwe, those belts go into Zimbabwe, where the blanket mine is. So once again, we are in the right zone, in the right area, and we're going to prove now what the geology looks like underneath the ground for everyone to see.
Absolutely. So you're really in this sort of data collection and data analysis stage, which is exciting.
Exactly. Look, my background is tech, so I'm taking that tech approach and be very strategic about what we're going to do here.
Yeah, and tech nowadays is so much better than it used to be. So there's a lot of ways you can leverage it to, access the data, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, and then also we're going to be able to get real-time information as we're flying the geophysics. So this way, if we need to redo any of the surveys, we'll be able to then real-time. The plane will be in the ground, on the ground in April. That's when we're going to start that first week of April. We signed that contract with Excalibur, as the press release had said. So we're super excited to get this going. I think a lot of the legacy investors and legacy management have been waiting for this day for a very long period of time, and now we're here.
Yeah, how exciting. The company is also, surveying, and there's a lot of other catalysts on the horizon. Where should investors be focusing their attention when they're looking at One Bullion?
I think that the main piece here is getting those results, mapping out what Vumba and Maitengwe looks like, and then really starting to drill. I mean, Maitengwe also is virgin territory, right? It's never been drilled before. We know it's sitting on one of the best greenstone belts. There's not a lot of sand covered there. So I think we're going to have some great opportunity in Maitengwe, but once again, Vumba is where our focus is going to be this summer. That's where the most work has been done to date. That's where all of the legacy drills are. That's where all of the artisanal mines are. That's where all the indications are right now that we're going to have some great sort of opportunity and some great results coming out here towards the end of the summer. We'll be able to report it to all of our investor base and the market. And I think at that point in time, we should really see a really nice rise in our stock and where we're going to be going on in the future.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing the One Bullion story with us.
Thank you. It was great seeing you.
Yeah. I'm Georgia Williams, and that was Adam Berk, CEO and President of One Bullion.